some things. We need to take what I call a temperature check. You know how when you go into places now and they're all COVID responsible, and you walk up and somebody looks like they're about to punch you in the face, but they're putting up a thermometer to see if you have a temperature. Because if you do, then you can't come in. So, but I want to do a virtual thermometer check for you. What's our situation? What is our situation? No, the Bible has told us that things will get a lot worse before they get better. Now, a lot of people don't believe that, but we saw that graphically in our Revelation project study. For those of you who are hoping that there are better times ahead, we may get a reprieve, but it will still tend to trend downward. See, but God is still on the throne. We know that. And he's offering us an oasis. So even though things are going to get worse before they get better, they're going to be little islands of oases for us. And in these very difficult times, for those who are willing to listen. You see, his promises remain. His promises, through all this, his promises remain. We're in the 7th or the 8th month of a horrible pandemic. No matter what anybody tells you or wants you to understand, that we're turning the corner, that we've licked this thing, we've beaten it. And how can we say we've beaten it or turning the corner when when we have 6 million people infected and we're rapidly reaching 200,000 deaths, and they're projecting maybe 400,000 deaths by the end of the year. And it didn't have to be. It didn't have to be. But then again, when I think about it, I say, well, maybe it did have to be. Since so many put the health of our economy ahead or over the lives of the people. Now, I wonder if they would feel that same way if it was affecting the white community as it affects the black and brown community. Do you think there might be a different response? I think so. You see, because we are in a culture of lies. We're in a culture of lies. And so many are falling for it. So many are ready to move on from the social justice problems. Climate change hasn't changed the mind of the base. And what's the common thread? What is the common thread through all of this? Lies. Yeah, lies. And you say, okay, well, maybe it's this and other things and this and all. The common thread seems to be lies. And remember what we talked about in Revelation. And it's hard for me to get away from Revelation because it was such a great study. So every now and then I'm going to keep reminding us what we learned. And we should keep in mind what we learned. Don't forget it. Do not forget it. Remember we learned Revelation 21:8 when it said what happens to, it says, unbelievers, murderers, whoremongers, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars. All liars are thrown into the lake of fire. You know, some people will say, well, lies. I tell little white lies and all that. Well, I'm just telling you what Scripture says. All liars will go there. You see, we're drowning in a sea of lies right now because people are believing the lies. They don't care. And what hurts me most are those evangelicals. The evangelicals are accepting the liar. And they know he's a liar. But they're accepting the liar to achieve their goals. They're going to accept the liar who's on his way to the lake of fire, and all those who support him. Those who don't know, all those who support him also are on their way to the lake of fire, just because they want to achieve what they look at as a little good over here, but they're accepting all the lies over here. Did Jesus ever accept any liars to achieve his goals?
No.
I don't think so. And if you want to know how so many people can accept the lies and believe every word of it, but remember what God has revealed about those he labels reprobate. Basically, he says since they reject his word, and he's tried to tell them one time, two times through his prophets or through you or whoever you're trying to talk to. You talk to them one time, you talk to them two times, and if they don't accept it after a while, you have to move on because they just won't accept it. And you can spend your time better talking to those who would accept it. Save these over here. Don't worry about this guy. You say, well, God doesn't give up on anybody. Well, he does. Let them do what they want to do. The offer is always there, but after a while, he sends them out a delusion. This is from the Bible, a delusion. And now they cannot accept the truth. See, he effectively tells them, okay, I tried to talk to you, but since you want to go to hell, go to hell. Well, that's strong words. We're talking what God says, okay? See, this is where we are. The gap between God and man is growing wider and wider. And we need you. We need you to stand in the gap as his remnant. God says, I always have a remnant. Are you going to be part of the remnant? Because you can see the vast majority of people are believing these lies and following these lies, even if it means the death of people. They don't care. The money and the income and the economy and all that is much more important to them. So we need you to stand in the gap. And we need you to stand in the gap no matter the consequences. See, that's the key. Once you get to that point where you say, okay, I'm with you, God, no matter what the consequences are, meaning I'm willing to accept all that those liars are throwing at me because I don't care. I'm standing with you. Let them throw it. Let them throw it. And once you get to that point, you see, God will know that his word is in your heart as opposed to just in your mouth. And your name, when you get to that point, your name will appear prominently in the book of life. And that's where you want it to be. Once again, a look or our revelation project still comes in. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. That something we can't seem to get away, and we're not going to get away from it. But every now and then, hopefully, what you've learned in Revelation will come through. But that's the standing in the gap moment. Now we're in a sea of lies. We have liars coming at us from all angles, and they expect you to believe that lie. Do not fall for that. Do not fall for that. Stand your ground. Come down, stand in the gap. And God will bless you for it. All right.